Star to Leo, SERGLEO. You will push the heart for the star. I'll read a couple things. I'll be example first. I will lead you by actions. I will not impose on you, but I do expect a wife to follow her husband on all things. What I'm looking for, a woman that understands the role of wife. Deal breaker, a woman that wants to be a wife who doesn't obey her husband. And there you have it. We gotta go. Keep me posted. This is the last time. So let's see if you find love this time. Only give you 2 times. Unless you come back and you're engaged. Yeah. If you come back with a woman, that's how you come back. Godspeed. Thank you. Godspeed. All right. Bye. Good job. We got company today because our revamping the ad. So we got the CTO here.
Oh my God, y'all. Now, Frederick told me that Serge was on Kendra G before. I didn't catch it. I didn't go look it up. But yeah, he just went live on Instagram with her and he was getting roasted. So shout out to Serge. Serge Foolishness. I love you, Serge. But God, oh, and I loved her feedback for him at the end. Very, very, very true. So welcome back. I'm sure others are watching Nick's stream right now, but I had to kind of get started. It's that kind of day. So we're gonna plow through and finish this book. I'm looking forward to it, to see the back end of How Not to Be a Boy by Robert Webb. I've enjoyed it. I've had a lot of feelings about him that were, all over the place. But yeah, what a guy. What a guy. These guys out here, they're crazy. But I guess women are crazy too. I'm crazy a bit. I think it's fun though. I mean, I don't want to ever, be too normal. I try to keep it strange, a little. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to put on my little ring here. Put on my little ring. Isn't that cute? Get my little fan out, actually. I should give myself a fan. I haven't had a little fanning in a couple of days. It helps center me. There's something very soothing about it. It's also nicer than having the AC on. I don't know. It's too cold. It blows out like really intensely cold, regardless of what temperature I have it at. Man, I'm still processing what I just watched. I need a moment. I got caught up. I was like, go live at 6:30, but it was still happening. And now I'm just kind of like, what the heck? Chat was fire, though. Chat was fire. They were roasting him. I suppose that happens too, the other things. But hey, I don't know. I try to be funny myself, try to have a sense of humor about whatever persona I have. Okay, let's dig in. I don't want to wait for people. Why bother? Let's get into this. Because once they show up, I'm going to start talking to them, and it's just going to take more time. And really, who are we reading this book for? Me, right? Okay, chapter 14 is titled Men Know Who They Are. A child of 5 would understand this. Send someone to fetch a child of 5. Groucho Marx. I'm talking to whoever's in the future, Original King Alpha. I have people watch these streams on catch up. It's not just whoever's in the chat. People actually listen and watch them afterwards. Usually I would say about half. I don't know him personally, Groucho Marx. I've seen him a bit. Actually, I don't think I'm really familiar, though, with anything, in particular of his work. Maybe I should look him up. I do like comedy. And yeah, he's an icon. Let Terry go to work. Yo, okay, I just watched Surge Wisdom on Kendra G. It was fun. I was kind of processing that. So I definitely can cook. Yes. But I don't know if I would marry someone who would never cook, you know. That was one of his requirements for a wife that he listed. That even if she was pregnant and tired and unwell, he wouldn't cook. He would order takeout. And I'm just like, is that how he lives now? Like that? I'm like, what is that? Where's the love in the world, people? Where's the love? I mean, definitely we have our roles, but sometimes, the most loving thing is just being there for someone. And where is that? You know, not everybody needs the same things. Oh, yes, he was Christ Conquers. I'd heard from Fred that he'd been on Kendra G before, that singles program with that woman. I think they're kind of interesting, actually. And apparently she has an app of her own now, which, hey, I always wondered, like, why she didn't have something like that. So she really marketed that well. I prepare an amazing bowl of cereal. If you like hot cereals, I like to make those. I love to make breakfast too. You know what I got this week in my grocery order? They had a sale on like different pancake mixes, and I got some like cinnamon bun pancakes. So I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna invite one of my friends who's going through some stuff over and do like a brunch. Oh, he performed very well. It was something. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a brunch because yeah, I've got some good stuff. It would be fun to make those pancakes and like some sausages and eggs and yeah, I have some champagne too. Maybe we could have mimosas. Wouldn't that be nice? Should I do like a mimosa party with some friends or just like one friend at least? I want to do something like that. I don't know. Now I'm thinking it would be nice to have a griddle. My dad used to have a griddle for making pancakes, which was way nicer than frying them up on the in a pan. Even though I do have a nice cast iron, but like it's just a lot more work than having a skillet that you just heat up and then dump the batter on. Anyway, I mean, yeah, I think I know, poor Aunt Jemima. Also, like, she was a real person. It's not racist to honor a real person. Like it's erasing someone, and I find that a lot when people are trying to be like, I don't know, politically correct. They often make things worse because they're taking away some particular person's achievement. That was a real woman, and then it became a character. Yes, it is. If you are black and angry, it doesn't. It's not just the blacks though, because I was in the radical feminist world, for many years, and before that, the socialist world. People are insane out here, and they're doing more damage. Yeah, I mean, it's so silly. And also it's like representation. We talk about how much representation matters, but we're gonna take this woman off of the brand. Stupid. So ignorant. So so ignorant. So missing the point entirely. If you want to rectify something about that, if you're feeling weird about that, I think there's something else you could do, maybe, than just getting rid of her. I know that's true though, Christ Conquerors. I talked about that with actually I was talking about it with like some black women, and they were the ones who brought it up, how overrepresented blacks are like on TV and in shows and like things like that in media. How overrepresented they are compared to like the population of America. Like if you were to really break it down and have the representation fit the narrative. But yeah, now every show has to have like multiple boxes ticked as well, which is just so bad, and ugh. It's uncomfortable to watch too because you're conscious of it. It's not like a character happens to be different in some way. It's just part of the plot, you know. You don't date black women. Oh, you're one of those. Oh dear. Why? Why always with the black men who don't date black women? Is that like a hard and fast rule, or is it because of like a cultural thing? Like I've had black men tell me that before. Multiple actually. Good looking out. I've given up pork and cigarettes, but those white women. I mean, it's yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not necessary. I don't judge really about that. I don't judge people for that. Like, I mean, I do consider it in terms of like pursuing someone. Like, if a guy tells me that, or if I see that, like, he doesn't like women of his own background, it's just a red flag a little, Or if I know that about a man, it's like, well, I understand like a relationship just happening naturally, and if it happens naturally, that's great. But like sometimes I'm wondering like if it's a hard rule anyway. I know. Oh, poor Nick. I know. I can't do the DNC. I did have it on in the background earlier. Like I was away from the keyboard and I was doing a couple things before I came over here. And it was the part when Stevie Wonder was on the DNC, and I was just like listening and like wishing I was at my phone so that I could get in the chat for that. Oh God. What do you mean Knit is cooked? I don't think he's cooked. I like his later streams. I like the and I think the plantation thing is cute. Oh, they have Bill Clinton. Ugh. How's he looking? Barack Obama looked like hell from what I saw. And like he like looked skinny, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine. Last time I saw Bill, he wasn't looking his best either. So look at me being all judgmental. It's just, the presidency does things to people. It really does. Watching them age, which is like, if Kathleen Kamala gets in the office, it'll be fun to see her age rapidly. Yeah. I just, I never have really watched the DNC. Like, I might have watched it when I was a kid. I think I remember Bill Clinton's 1992 run was such a big deal. I remember all the hype around it. Man, Fleetwood Mac. I remember all the my dad's generation getting into that because they had like Fleetwood Mac rocking out for Clinton. God, it was so lame. He looked drained. Okay, you've met Obama. Wow. Yeah, Yeah, it is. I imagine his life is very exhausting. Hey, heavy is the head that wears the crown, you know. Yeah, okay. That's cool, Alpha. Yeah. I understand that too. That's kind of yeah, that's kind of my mentality about it. It's not the most important thing, you know. But it is something to like navigate carefully too. Because I see people get into those kind of relationships all unconsciously and do real damage to one another. And it's, you know, most people are very unconscious and unloving, yeah, regardless of who they are, where they're from. I understand that Christ conquers because, yeah, I think of some Black women I've known that are just, you just envy them somewhat because they're, I don't, yeah, envy is such a terrible thing, but not envy, but like you look at them and just, I don't know, they're inspiring. I guess I've had Black women in my life like that, you know? My fourth grade teacher was kind of like that. I was so grateful I had her. Like Mrs. LeBlanc was just amazing. I wonder if she's still alive. Maybe I should look her up, spy on her. I think that's true though. Christ conquers of, yeah, quality people. And then we have to again just point it back at ourselves. Are we being quality people all the time? I have my own work to do. I can't judge, you know. Yeah, a lot of people aren't real. A lot of people aren't real. A lot of people are, their thoughts are not their thoughts, you know. They have no substance to them. Hmm. What does the paper bag say? What paper bag? Is there a paper bag somewhere? I'm like looking at my camera now. Paper bag. Are you making a reference to what we were talking about? There's a song that reminds me of a song. It reminds me of the song, let's see, Stepping Out of Line, I think. Is that what it's called? By the Au Pairs? They are ethereal. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a woman is ethereal. That's womanhood, to be ethereal. Zora Neale Hurston comic. Okay, nice reference there. Oh, paper bag color. Oh, okay. Y'all are talking about your color. Porcelain here representing. I do have my lavender filter on. I like it. It's kind of dreamy. Plus, I'm not wearing any makeup, so I didn't want to, be completely, you know, seen, I suppose. LL Cool J. He's saying he looks like LL Cool J. Shut up. Let's get back to the book. Yeah, I've read the opening quote. Poor Robert. Robert, are you watching? Robert. Okay, well, shout out to the chat. Thanks for being here. Yeah, sit down. We're going to talk about this. Okay, this book, this wonderful book, Nellie and O4. Who mentioned Nellie? Wasn't Nellie mentioned today? Or maybe it was yesterday. Nellie came up somewhere. Can't remember where. Maybe it was on Nick's show, the American Anchor Baby show. Because, yeah, I think they were, but I don't. Ugh. I don't remember. Y'all are funny. Okay. Mummy? Yes, sweetheart. On non-uniform day, if I go as Spider-Man instead of as a princess, will I get laughed at? I suppose you might. What will you say if they laugh? Shall I tell them that they're laughing because of the trick that makes boys unhappy and girls get rubbish jobs? Yes, sweetheart. I think that would be a very good answer. It's 2015, and the person asking the question is a 5-year-old girl called Esme. The person answering is her mother, Abigail. Abby is my wife. Ezzy is our eldest daughter. We also have Dory for Dorothea. I love the name Dorothea. I like the name Esme as well. You don't like Nellie? Oh, goodness. The trick is the family code word for the incoming tide of gender BS. He says the full word. That Ezzy, Dory, and their friends, including the boys, will spend their lives wading through. The idea that boys and girls, men and women, have different roles to play in life according to the different contributions they make to a shared reproductive system is one they are going to have to deal with whether we like it or not. So they might as well have a name for it. You may think that introducing the idea of the patriarchy into the minds of small children is the ultimate in liberal overkill. You may even think that it's cruel. In my view, you might as well say it's cruel not to let them have a teddy bear's picnic in the Dartford Tunnel. The trick is dangerous for girls. And if I've tried to say anything in this book, I've tried to say that it's dangerous for boys too. Feminism is not about men versus women. It's about men and women versus the trick. Well, feel free to tell us about your dinners. I'd love to hear what people make themselves to eat. I met Abby in 2003 recording a Radio 4 comedy show called Concrete Cow. Oh, I would love to hear some of that. After a long wait, the first series of Peep Show was about to be broadcast on Channel 4. So among this unknown cast of 6, I'm equally unknown, but have a kind of pre-celebrity something or other going on. David and I have had too many setbacks for me to treat this the way I would in my Dick Whittington pump. By which I mean I try not to lord it around like a golden penis. I make everyone tea in the green room. I carefully note that Abigail says her brothers call her Abs, and drop it in casually when I'm asking if she wants milk. I laugh immoderately at everyone else's jokes and make suggestions for script improvements with elaborate courtesy. I'm doing my impression of a good company player, but I don't do such a good impression as to leave them in any doubt that it's an impression. My every deliberate gesture is there to scream, "You're bloody lucky to have me," but I'm being very humble about it. Abby's having none of it. Over a cast lunch, I say that my friend Emma was talking to a colleague at work about how I had a part in a sitcom. The colleague had said, "What, like a shopkeeper or an extra or something?" And Emma had replied, "No, he's one of the main ones." Abby takes this in for a beat and says, "So that was a story about how you're one of the main ones?" Then she opens her eyes madly wide and cries in a cawed Californian accent, "What a great story!" Is she Californian? Did he marry a Californian? Oh, you had nice steak. That's nice. I don't eat enough steak. I just don't like to cook it. I don't know what to do with it. It's like, well, anyway. Okay. Nothing else to catch up. But yeah, steak is good. Oh my, yeah, that would pass me out too. Were you tired from cooking it? Garlic pan seared chicken thighs, olive oil drizzled bakely, baked mini potatoes with hickory smoked bacon. Butter basted. So okay, go off, King. Sounds nice. I love chicken thighs. It's such a good, yeah. I love cooking them. Um, they're like that's like the best part. Christ Conquers gets down. If his wife was pregnant, I bet he would cook her a meal like that if she was sick and tired. He'd be like, she needs something to build her strength and put her to sleep. Can't believe that. God has been good to me in numerous ways. Look at him boasting. Stop boasting, Nelly. Or LL Cool J. So silly. Okay, let's see. Let's get back to him and his new Californian wife. She might have just been doing a Californian accent. It's so funny. I love it when British people do American accents. It's always fun to listen to. It gives you some perspective, about how you sound to others. But I don't like to do accents. I feel kind of like cringe about it. Hey, I'm grateful too, right? Gratitude is the attitude. Hi, Sabrina. Welcome back. Have a seat. Hmm. Tasty food that is good for you. Hmm. I need to. I need to cook some nice things for myself. It's been kind of rough lately. Work has been consuming me. I make sure I have enough food and like that I have food that's nutritionally good, but it's such a different thing to cook nice meals for yourself. And I'm missing that. I need some home cooked meals. Dang it. I'm like listening to y'all. Oh, we had steak. Oh, I made chicken thighs. I was like, when was the last time I made chicken thighs? It's been months. Ugh. Hi, Sea Sal. Yoda was ticking me off. He was ticking me off today. I got ticked. I want it to stop. Like, I really want it to stop. Okay, Sabrina, Mina just wants to say that she didn't mean to be mean and she thinks you're a big baby. I don't think you were being mean. I think it was just, again, it was like one of those things where it was like, I don't know, disturbing. You're not as bad as Yoda, Mina, like at all. He just goes there and doesn't stop. But like sometimes you'll say things that are a little bit like too much. Like, whoa. Yeah, I did. I was there for that Christ Conquers. I don't remember what you called about, but I do remember you calling. You're like, this is CC. Well, I'm sorry. Sabrina says she feels sexually harassed by your comments. So that's kind of how I feel by that kind of behavior. It becomes sexually harassive, you know? And I don't like being sexually harassed like that. It's too much. Like like it's ugh. Yeah, what day did you call in? I'd like to go back and listen because I was in the chat and sometimes you miss it. Sometimes it's nice to go back and listen to people. It's fun to call the shows though, check in, say, share something that's on your mind or heart, or to just say hi. Okay, let's see. Her reaction to me in general is evenly divided between thinking I'm an idiot and thinking I'm an idiot that she might want to shag. Yep, there we go. But then, along with my deliberate gestures, there are my undeliberate gestures, like the way I pull my t shirt up and jump around in front of her, or the way I go up to her face and yap like a dog. Oh, he was acting like Jeremy to get her. Jeremy's character on Peep Show is so interesting. Like, but I love that show so much. I've watched it, I don't know how many times. I might watch it again soon, actually. I'm feeling like maybe I need to watch Peep Show again with new eyes. But yeah, his character is this like very childish man. I mean, they're both childish men. Um, he is kind of a grifter, pot smoker who thinks he's a musician and, kind of lives off of his friend Mark, who is, a repressed, anxious, self loathing, kind of responsible person who, despite this, is still moderately successful, decent kind of bloke. So these two are like an odd couple. But there's this interesting pattern in their relationships with women and with Jeremy. He falls in love with women and he makes them his god, like completely. And they're always kind of out of his league, and he should know that, like, he's being used, but he's not self-aware enough because these women are filling this like hole for him. And then you find out in the character, in the like, in his like past, when he's goes in for therapy, his like father divorced his mother when he was 10, and they are they divorced. I don't know, who divorced too, but he like left and he didn't see his father again. So he has this like whole, he's very, angry at his own mother, very openly angry, hostile, jealous towards her, demanding of her. Anyway, it's interesting. Yeah, I still wonder if you're Tomas as well, Christ Conquers. Sometimes. Because where is Tomas right now? Joel was like, I thought he was white. It's funny how people are like the perceptions you get of people. It's funny, yeah, what you can kind of like think about them. So, anyway, you liked it. Okay, Maynard it is so funny. It is so, it's hilarious. And it's so, I love hearing their thoughts. I honestly think, it's kind of, I wonder if I think Nick should show it to Jesse, honestly, and get his take on it. Because, like, you're in their thoughts, and it's such a radically different form of style, and it hasn't really been recreated from what I've seen. I mean, they talk about doing an American version of Peep Show. They've been talking about it for years, and you hear things are in production, but I haven't kept up with it. So they're planning to do it with like females, which would be interesting, but I don't know. the inner monologue like Shakespeare. I just think it's so interesting, like, because you hear people's thoughts, you watch their actions from that. It's so, Peep Show really was incredible, um, and groundbreaking. And when I think about it now, when I think about what I know and what I've learned, I think I do need to revisit it and look at it with the eyes of awareness about how our thoughts aren't ours. And just, I don't know, I'm just kind of having fun analyzing it now that I'm going down this little thought pattern. But it sounds like he's talking about meeting his wife, and it's like she thinks he's an idiot. This is the Peep Show narrative. This is the Peep Show line. This is what Jeremy's character went through in Peep Show. Every woman he got with thought he was a mug, thought he was like an easy target, a soft target to get whatever they wanted out of him, without much effort. And he really, is desperate to be loved. Like, you see it, and he's trying to get it through all these women. And it just sounds like it's the same thing, but he's like, she was thinking I was an idiot, but thinking that I'm an idiot, she might want to shag. Like, that's Jeremy's whole, like, thing with women. Oh my God. Sometimes it looks good. Maybe I should change the light. What do you think? Let's try a different light. Gosh, what do y'all think? Oh, I just turned it off. Let's see. I don't know. I think it kind of looks good. Like, this is it's greenish light. Maybe we should do that. What do you think about that? Is that better? I think it's evocative. See, look how white I look though right now. Like, I'm liking it actually. Dang. I'm not wearing makeup today, y'all. I have a little lip balm on, but look. This light is good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, sorry. White excellence. We're all very different, and it's all very nice, isn't it? Okay, let me see. Color theory is good now. I've done a bit of that as well. What's your kind of seasons, like, or season palette that you think fits you best? That's an interesting. Quite white. But do you think the checkered shirt looks better now with a different light? I think it does. You were right. It was kind of washed out. But I feel like now it's a little bit more evocative. I mean, I think if I were wearing makeup too, it might be a little bit better. Fall, interesting. I think I'm more of a winter. But this lighting, okay, there wasn't anything wrong with my lighting, but do you like this lighting? I think this lighting's kind of nice. I think I want to stick with it. I'm liking it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I did kind of do it before, and I think I kind of came out as a winter. There were a couple, I know they have, like, within that, there were more winters. So I started kind of looking into those kind of palettes. But I also just I like what I like too, For me, this is kind of like fun and casual, I suppose. And makes me feel kind of, I don't know. I don't know. know. There's some kind of, I do like the checkered, I like patterns. I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, just punch with them sometimes. Now I look shiny. Have I been frying chicken? How rude. Could be because the light's directly on me. Yeah. And if I do it directly like this, I'll be even shinier. I have not been, I did do some skincare a little bit ago. I think maybe that's why I'm looking shiny. I was, you know, messing with my face and putting things on it. So anyway, y'all stop judging me. You're judging my appearance. That's the worst reason to judge me. Okay. But no, interesting topics. Yeah, I need to think about color theory again. Because I thought, I don't know, I feel like I have more exploration to do. I kind of want to do more of a, I think I want to do more testing of it and kind of actually see up close instead of just, because I use this program to do it. You know what I mean? I did this program, I put in a picture of my face. It's different though than when you're like actually wearing the clothing. And I photograph very, just because of the way my skin is and the way light hits it, how I look in person, I still am very light, you know, but it looks different. So, and I'm wanting to wear the clothing to make an impression, you know, mostly in person. So I kind of want, yeah, I think, I don't know. And it's hard now to like shop like that, to have the time, really. Well, anyway, interesting things to think about. Color theory. I mean, it's a shame when people really get it wrong. I haven't finished the drawing, Stacy. If Mr. Matt is going to buy it, I'm a bit, you know, that kind of put pressure on the drawing, honestly. And I'm not done with it. I hate when people commission things for me. They're like, or they're, I don't want to say that. That isn't true. But when people ask me to do a particular thing, it's like, it puts pressure on the process. But then there's something interesting about it as well. I'm just not done with it. He's going to have something epic, you know? He's going to have something different, you know? So it takes time. I have to do it genuinely. It has, when I come to it, it has to be from the right space mentally. I'm kind of thinking of some things though to do now to it again. I think I want to add some more pink, some like brighter pink in it. Because it kind of, yeah, kind of some pink to overshadow what has gone on. It's forming. Y'all are giving Terri patronage. Why wouldn't they? Yes, people give me patronage. Christ conquers. What kind of message is that? Goodness. See, Sal, these are always derailed. These are always derailed. Poor Robert's reading of his book has gotten derailed. But anyway, yeah, I'm thinking about that now. So yeah, I mean, he'll get it when he gets it, and what he'll get will be, you know, one of a kind. Okay. Well, I think that, like, what did you mean by that comment? Y'all are giving Terri patronage. What does that mean? Oh, why did you give Fred the finger? It was a rhetorical comment. Anyhow, let's continue. I think that Cambridge boy might fancy me, she says to her friend Breed. Breed is in the audience during the first recording and confirms that whenever Abby goes to the microphone at the front of the stage, I spend the whole sketch staring at her bottom. Yes, it's possible. Abby went to a single-sex boarding school, and her own flirtation technique is equally mature and straightforward. When she hears me say that none of Shakespeare's comedies are actually funny, she starts singing a made-up song called Pretty Boy is a Fucking Moron. Oh, he likes this. He's into being put down by women. Okay. He's telling on himself. I mean, sometimes I am an artist, Christ the Conquerors. And some people are just, he's a patron of the arts generally. That's nice, King Alpha. Thank you. My shoulders are feminine and beautiful. That's nice of you to say. I should show them off more, but I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with it just because I have an ample bosom. So, you know, but thank you for appreciating them. I like, that's something I like about myself as well. It's one of the things I admire when I see myself, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I got. These nice shoulders, nice clavicle, like it's nice. Don't act like you don't do those too. Don't all girls do that? Maina, you do that to yourself too, right? Well, I'm just saying, like, you're right, it isn't. I apologize. But, like, I feel I'm uncomfortable wearing the brassieres that they make for that, to have your shoulders exposed, because I think, like, especially, like, if I'm going to do, it is something I've considered for a certain occasion that it might be nice to have my shoulders exposed. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just don't strategically feel comfortable navigating that. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I'm taking it too far. I get your point. I get your point. I just think original King Alpha. Thank you for the compliment. I took it too far. Let's continue. Okay. So yeah, this is funny. I mean, I've had this feeling about guys too. Oh, some of them are dumb. When they're dumb, and God, shout out to the dumb ones. Oh, it's so hard. I don't know. He's not dumb. I don't want to say he's dumb. He's not dumb. He got into Cambridge. He's just a bit one-dimensional, maybe, or not developed in certain ways. He's not stupid. He could evolve. But it sounds like he's kind of had a one-track mind, which isn't a bad thing. He had a goal and he made it happen. So it's something I do admire about Robert, in the very least. Like, he's able to execute something that other people haven't, and he did it by just being completely selfish and one-dimensional to get it. Like, okay. Good on you. You got your wish. Um, and and it has been a good thing in the world. Like, could somebody else have been and done what he's done? No, he is unique in that way. And so we spend the end of series cast meal talking to each other. Sadly, Auntie Trudy just died, and I tell Abby about her. And she tells me about her Auntie Elsa. We quietly lose the others on the way to the pub and snog in the taxi all the way back to my flat. Oh, how British. No, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. Oh God. The simple chat one, how embarrassing. Yeah, I went through it, y'all. I was vulnerable. I was a mess. Ugh. I should take it down, honestly. Hi, Bond. Yeah, I don't want that kind of stuff up. How embarrassing. Maybe I should revisit it though. Maybe it's something to reflect on. What do y'all think? I don't know if I can't watch myself. I can listen to myself. I don't know. I can watch myself now. That isn't true. I can put myself on and kind of like listen. I do sometimes, especially if I want to revisit like certain things. The simple jack was when I had a bowl cut. Yeah, I had a bowl cut for a while. It was something. I had it for a couple of years. I was rocking that hard bowl cut for a couple of years, like one of the Korean feminists. I was trying to like look like them a bit, I guess. I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. Would that be funny? What video was it? What was it titled? I bet it's terrible. I'm sure I will cringe and cry. And then have you all watch with me. Wouldn't that be delightful? Good God. Danny, hello Yoda. So do you know what video it was? I'll pull it up now. We'll have fun tonight. Like, because it's, Robert, I have the title plus, 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 which means anything else could happen. Okay. So, yeah, they snogged in a taxi all the way back to his flat. How British, right? When we get out, the driver says, please invite me to the wedding. Ew, that is so nasty. 3 weeks later, we're in a pub in Clapham called the Eagle. We're having a chat which turns into me explaining slowly and carefully all the reasons why I'm hopelessly in love with her. She replies with a smile and a shine to her beautiful eyes. My heart is full. 3 years after that, we can't invite the taxi driver because we forgot to get his number, but we pack St. Paul's Church Covent Garden. Oh, they got married in St. Paul's in Covent Garden. I went there. I visited that area when I was in London. The Actors Church with lots of other family and friends. Yeah, I really got around London quite a bit, surprisingly. Like, my friend really helped me out with that. That was so cool. It was brutal. Something about masculinity. The one with the woman that looks like a grandpa. Oh, maybe with Bev Joe. That would be interesting to watch. I've been wondering about that, like with Bev Joe. I don't want to disrespect her by taking it down though, because she does take that kind of thing personally. And I do have respect for her as a person. So I'm not gonna like treat her that way. So I'll leave it up. That'd be fun to watch. Would it be cool if I invited her on to watch with us? We could do a streaming party of it. See if she's up for it. I don't know if she would be. But I don't know. I feel she uses it to air a lot of her grievances, and I don't like that. Like she'll get on your platform and then start talking about her mess with other people, and it's kind of like I don't like that kind of thing. Like it's well anyway. It doesn't mean you're a lesbian, no matter how effed up the haircut is. Me at the political lesbians. Well, um, I don't know. I don't like. I just, yeah, I don't know what the truth is about this. I think I know what I think for me, and I think. Well, I don't want to say I don't know what the truth is, or say it's just for me. I mean, like. I think women are lesbians for different reasons. And I don't think that that's any different than any other reason why a woman identifies that way. I don't think there's like really I don't see any kind of solid difference between just based on what I've witnessed. Yeah, I love her. I love her so much too. I do. Hey, all women are nuts. All women are nuts. If you really get to know them, they're nuts. And I do. I love her. I really do. I loved her maybe too much, you know. But man, yeah, I that would be interesting to revisit because that was I was thinking about that trip recently where I went down to visit her. Her friend Carol like put me up. That was really nice, and it was they showed me like parts of their community. I got to look at different God like publications that came out in the 70s. There was this one that was really interesting. Um, who wrote it? It was oh, I think Naomi Wolf's mother. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but right, King Alpha. I don't. Why is that so? Why is that an identity? Why is what you're attracted to your identity? Why is it so important to you to make that your identity? Like why are you categorizing people with that in your mind? That's kind of where I come that's where I'm coming from at it. Like why is this how I'm seeing this other person and why is this how they're perceiving me and why is this like it, why is this so primary, I suppose, to our identities, what we're attracted to? Because that's not who we are at the end of the day. It's a mirage. It's not the spirit of the person. So I don't I don't like looking at people that way. I don't like thinking of myself in those ways. Um, when I think about this issue. So to me, it's like people can do things for different reasons. So I just don't judge really when it comes to this. The evolutionary benefit. Oh man, you took it there. You took it there. That's interesting insight. I think that's correct. Like that's the right way. That's how people should get to know one another. You should watch a person over time to kind of figure out their character a bit, right? Like you don't just jump into something with someone. And I think that's where it's really backwards. People are so into having their like relationship and that status that they don't bother to kind of seek a person's character and like what they're about and how they live, how they live their life, how they handle themselves in situations. Like, you can't just expect to know someone quickly. And mm, yeah, feel whatever feels natural. And I mean, I think that's how a lot of people approach it, but like, I don't think that natural is always good, you know? Hello, Jeff Riggins. He says, hey, partners. Fred does have a point. Yeah. Fred usually has a point. What does Freddie US mean? Is it because he's Freddie International? Silly. Okay, where was I? Did I lose the spot? Okay, yeah. Okay. This room, says my best man, David Mitchell, is full of very nice people, referring to the wedding at the church. Indeed, it is, including David himself. Here are Abby's cool friends from UCL and drama school. Here's Jenna with her smashing future husband, Nick. Here's Heather Slater from QEGS. Oh, hey, Heather Slater showed up. And Carol Plum from the Dower House. Here's Patrick, Joe, and Dora from Robinson. Here's Eddie and Jack and my Footlights friends. Here's Will and his lovely wife. Absurdly, magnificently far-fetched vows are exchanged, along with gold rings and a kiss. Absurdly, he refers to his wedding vows as absurdly, magnificently far-fetched vows are exchanged. Oh, I don't think that's true, Sabrina. Maybe a bit. Maybe it has a bit. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's enabled me to kind of seek out the sort of real life interactions I want to have as well. So it's not without, I don't know, I think one can feed the other if you let it. Mina, stop lying about people. Yeah, well, that's repression is part of the culture, Frederick. Repression and projection. Hmm. Oh. Yeah, I think life keeps us from doing those kind of things. I mean, sometimes you have to build it yourself, you know? I've had to do that. Hmm. He usually does have a point. I will say this about Frederick. He usually does have a point. People, you have to listen to him, and most people don't want to. But if you listen, he'll have a point in there that you'll get. This is why Nick goes so hard with him. Irish Repub has some good comments here. He says not to try the kid shield, and then clarifies that he knows that Frederick is not gay. These accusations, people are gay sometimes. Get like, or they do some gay stuff. Like, it's life. Calm down. I don't know. I don't want to know. Mainly, like, I don't want to know. They are. They definitely are. I concur that it. Alex Jones has some interesting things, that he has said over the years that have been prophetic. I mean, I've loved him. I loved him ever since I saw that show, like that. It was a movie. It was a Waking Life. Has anyone in the chat seen Waking Life? It's yeah, it's interesting, but he has a skit in it where he's like on a bullhorn or microphone that he's got attached to his car and he's driving through. And I was like, whoa, who is that guy? uh, indeed, indeed, indeed. Hey, Frederick has an advice. I liked bowling. Oh dear. Where is this going to go? Please keep it like respectful. Yeah, like please respect Sabrina in the chat and don't get weird or sexually harassive with her. I will like not appreciate that in my chat. Like anyway. Okay, let's continue reading this. Okay. It's late December and the hymns are replaced with Christmas carols. We sing Good King Wenceslas. I'm not familiar with this song, with men and women taking alternate verses to the amusement of both. Jack brilliantly belts out Sondheim's Being Alive, and Eddie beautifully reads, I Carry Your Heart With Me, I Carry It In by E. E. Cummings. That song and that reading, it's not as if Abby and I don't have the right ideas about what marriage might be. It's just that now I look at pictures from the wedding, and although I remember a fantastic day, I also see something else. It's Jean all smiling, the one who doesn't know she's dead, and I feel an unwanted irony. Look at this young couple enjoying their wedding. They don't know, do they? They don't know they're walking straight into the trick. But first, one last word from Mr. Paul Frederick Webb, forsaking all others. If you're going to swap a promise like this, it's probably a good idea to know what you're asking the other person to forsake. Obviously, Abby, who spent her hen night toasting her former lovers, that took quite a few refills, knew all about mine. So did Dad. Okay, interesting. So, okay, hold on. It sounds like what, why? Like, he's talking about how his wife had multiple lovers before they married. Like, why? Why mention that? I know. I mean, is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask? Red, oh, this is interesting. Red's Mac is talking about you on her channel. Well, let her talk. I don't know who that is. Hopefully, she has nice things to say. I wish her well. Anyway, yeah, back to this. Anyway, I mean, just, yeah, like I said, I don't like it's okay. There's just times when it's too much, where people cross boundaries that they should know better than to, I guess. What's going on? Only we bully Terry. Anyone else will give it up. I mean, like, what? Somebody's talking about me. Yeah, and they're going to stay talking about me because that's how it is. If you're doing something, people are going to talk about you. Okay. I don't know that what I'm doing is that interesting, honestly. I appreciate y'all being here. I think hopefully you get something out of it. Hopefully it feeds your spirit in some way. But, like, I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. If somebody's, I don't know what there is to talk about what I say or what I'm doing here. So it's not that serious. It's just the internet. I'm not interested, is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know who that is. I don't know why they're talking about me. I need more information, basically. Like, who is this person? Why are they talking about me? Is it worth a response? If it's just somebody's talking about me, like, yeah, of course they are. I'm me. Okay, so let's continue. um, he bangs his hand on the table. I knew it. You like a bit of both, boy. Fair enough, mate. You just like shagging and you're not fussy. It's not my scene, but God knows with women, even I've sometimes nearly put it in the wrong hole, so to speak. Good old boy. His father is an interesting character, you know? If you want to get on my lap, you are free to get on your lap. I freed it up. Come on. Come on. What, you don't? Babe, I'm going to read this book tonight. That's what's happening. Okay? Okay, Shug? Okay, dear. Get up here. Come on. Come on, sweetie. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay, he doesn't want up here. I don't know. Whoa, Fred got her. Hi, Josh Music. Why does church always interrupt the show around this time? Are you church? Are you church? You are church, aren't you? Are you church? Come on, get up here. Come on up. Yeah. How you doing? We're calling him Church. That's a good nickname for him. You want to go by Church? You like that? Yeah, he likes that. He's a cat. Of course he likes that. He's like, oh, she's calling me Church. I haven't seen your channel, Josh. You stream as well? Well, I will check it out. Thanks for letting me know. I figured you might do some music. Do you do music? No, not Church from Pet Cemetery. Hey, for real. Hey, shout out to you for admitting it. Admitting it is the first step. For real, I had that I don't know if I ever told you guys about this experience I had where it was 2020, height of the COVID hysteria. And I was interacting with someone and she was basically virtue signaling about how in her collective household, they were all very stringently, adhering to all these rules about COVID. And, basically not interacting with people, not, other than, going to work and all of that. Oh, it's your friend's channel. You apologetics. I'm just a guest usually. You'd like me to check that out. So the channel is called Apologetics. Yikes. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's gotta go. I have not finished the gay book yet. We're going to finish it tonight, though, John Frederick. And you're looking forward to Gaddafi. Okay. Heck yeah. You're so good. You are so good. Is Tar Baby in the chat? I'm not seeing him. I think I blocked him today. I think he ticked me off that much. He was ticking me off in one of the chats, and I couldn't put up with it any longer. I had to block him for my mental health, y'all. He's been really upsetting me. Hi. Well, I don't know, Sabrina, not tonight for me. I'm not up for, I want to get through this book tonight. I don't know if I give the let's plow through the book. If there's time after that, if you hang around, we'll see. But I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not unblocking him. He can come in here on his Calvin account if he wants me to see his comments. So praise the I am. Okay, praise the I am. Let me pull it up. Praise the I am. I don't know much about apologetics. Oh, heck, I forgot Phil's was streaming tonight. Well, I didn't know for sure if he was. But he does do it on Wednesday nights when he does. So, okay, praise the I am. Interesting channel icon. I don't know about that. Ugh. Okay. No mental. Oh, and they're coming up. They got something coming up tonight. Well, I'm going to have to miss it because we're live here at the Terri Strange channel. But cool, I'll check it out. Yeah, he can say anything. He's going to be horrible. I know it. If he knows he can just say anything. I'm sick of his antics. He's ticking me off. But he loves it too. I know he's like, oh, I love it. I'm affecting her. But it's like, oh, I just don't want to deal with it. Like, I'm trying to have a nice time. I'm not trying to be assaulted. And why is this person treating me this way? It's wrong. You talked about Calvinism last night. Oh yeah, you brought that up with me, didn't you, when we were talking on Missing Mod's channel? What is the fan signaling? I'm ticked. I am ticked. He asking why you ticked. He knows why I'm ticked. He knows that I asked him to stop and he didn't stop. I know that, Sabrina. Exactly. That's where it's for me. And he's saying, oh, I'm doing this. He was bullying C-Sal, being you didn't back me up. You're a Christian brother. And I'm like, well, were you being very Christian with what you were doing? Or was that you being kind of wicked and harassing and instigating? Christians aren't supposed to do that. Right? Right? We're not supposed to act that way towards others. We're not supposed to do that to other people. Why? He was bullying you. I was feeling bullied today by Tar Baby Yoda, as well. So, and I saw he was bullying you. He kept and then he was shout out, and he was shouting me out for something that was inappropriate. I know that too. Yeah. It was for John Frederick. The fan's for you, John Frederick. I know it's hot in Florida. Indeed. Yeah. I know. Well, I didn't consent. I blocked him. I was like, I'm done. I no longer consent to this. Blocked. I'm not seeing it. Right. Exactly. You learned the signals, John Frederick. Now I'm nervous. Enough. Okay. I'm not getting into that. Okay, let's see. So yeah, this is his father comforting him about his gayness or bisexuality, I should say. Well, he did ask. So I guess his dad asked him if he was gay or something. And he was said these epic words of comfort. I knew it. You just like a bit of both, boy. Fair enough, mate. That's not truth. That isn't truth. You're no, no. The truth is, you instigate people into saying things in like wild scenarios, and then you manipulate whatever they say into being something that it isn't for your own like thrills. That's not the truth. You twist the truth and you make up things for your own little silly games. It's not your safe space. I can make it my safe space if I wish. I have no problem. She wasn't wrong. Yuta, I don't know a dang thing about you to be treating anyone the way you do sometimes. Yes. Hey, good message. I'm putting that up. And that is fair enough. You block anybody who makes you uncomfortable. I'm not going to judge you for it. I block people that make me uncomfortable too. Like, they know what they did at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't happen for no reason. Yes, isn't he wonderful? Yes, he does do that. He is very protective by nature. He's wonderful. He's a wonderful beast. Male cats are wonderful. Like, I mean, cats are wonderful generally. I love female cats as well, but like, there's something about like the instincts of male cats that are really touching. And when you have both, it's quite a marvelous thing. A male cat and a female cat around. That's the best when they have that like dynamic in your hood. You gotta have multiple cats. If you have a homestead. My white fortress is my safe space. Heck yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I know, that's so frightening. He summoned you. He summoned you. Interesting. Well, I don't like being spoken to in that way. So, and when I ask you to stop, I would like you to respect that. And if you don't, I don't have to deal with it. Let's see. Hmm. We're back in 1994, and I'm home from Cambridge and missing Clara. She came to stay for a few days, and Dad seems delighted that I've got such a clever, posh, blonde girlfriend. In fact, now that the evidence is in that I'm somehow capable of making this happen, it's like he's emboldened to ask a question that seems to have been bothering him for some time. It's very interesting. And yeah, here's a perfect example too of like women's value to men, the value that they add to men just in the eyes of other men. Um, there's all these factors that are like a woman gives a level of respectability to a man that men who don't have a woman don't have. Even if it's just a girlfriend, you know, it's a status thing. It increases their status. I mean, hey, I do. I do need to silent prayer. Tomas wishes Ruby well. I wish her well too. I do very much love that girl. You know, she's my friend's daughter, and she's become my friend. You know, since she's grown up. Um, so, yeah, I wish her well. She's going through a lot of stuff and hell that I went through. Not all of it, but I just, you know, I think I don't know, like she's an amazing person too, you know? So that she's my friend. Indeed she did. I concur. I was surprised that's all she had to say about your fine nation. Oh. Yeah, I love the Dutch. They're quite something, aren't they? I was thinking about it a bit today too. Interesting. Uh, God is with us. Yes. Something more demure. It's pretty demure. I don't know. I guess it's a little bit. You look good. That's true as well. That's what we do. I know. Our materialism is complained about, but it also drives society, you know? That's an interesting, yeah. I mean, yeah, and there's all this kind of like points. It's interesting. Yeah. I don't think women really think about that. Like, at least women I've met and talked to about it, I'm like, you know, like you're making this guy, you're giving this guy like so much just by being in his presence. Like, your presence is like so valuable. Like, know what you're adding to the situation. Well, anyway, yeah, more demure and mindful, less brazen. It's brazen. I don't know. It's cool. Why can't she be brazen? CSAL isn't nobody. She's kind of an icon. Like, come on. CSAL isn't just any chatard. CSAL is like a somebody in the chatard world and universe. The Commonwealth seems to have forsaken you. That's just how it feels, but he hasn't. Have you forsaken your God? God doesn't forsake us, we forsake him. God doesn't fail us, we fail him. He can only reach out to you as far as you reach back. That's how it works. You know? And we can cry out and think we're, calling to him. And we're so far from him because we aren't seeking him. You have to seek his ways. You want to seek him, seek his ways. But I have to say, even when I was a mess, even when I was in hell, God preserved me and got me through. He never has forsaken me. Like, all the situations in my life that could have gone way worse than they did, he has delivered me from them. So I don't know, like, really what to say. That's just how I see it. But I should. Yeah, see, so all of it is valid. Oh, that's a nice one too. I like this new one. What do y'all think about Cecil's new one? Yeah, I like that. There's a bit of mystery in it as well. Yeah. Shout out to Cecil. I can't believe he got unmodded. But for you, like, why did you get unmodded? You were you were very good at modding. I was out for revenge with my modding. And they deserved it too. Yeah. You know what? But I had fun. It was fun. People do get a little too nasty and like the chat. I don't know. You got Joelle being like all godly and decent and speaking the truth so much. Speaking so much truth. Like, and bringing interesting insights. Just, and then the chat is like going off about the nastiest stuff. The nastiest stuff. That's right. Well, that's how I am. Like, I'm that kind of person. That's how it is, you know? Do not give me power because I will be authoritarian. I don't think I was that authoritarian though. I just was timing people out. That's all that happened. They'd say, and it was usually because they came for me. And I was just like, oh. Or they said something like, just, it was funny. I thought it was funny. I did it I got a laugh out of it. I think some people liked it too. I think some of the people who got timed out were like, what the? I think it was good for them. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yes, and this is why it's difficult for women to be leaders because they can be tyrannical, but sometimes that is what's needed. That's wicked annoying. It was funny though. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Oh God. Yeah, those were good times. How many did I time out? They got timed out for like 10 seconds. It had to be like less than 10 people. I mean, really, it really wasn't that much. I think Raymond got modded out for like 5 minutes. And that's when it was like, oh, she's unjust. But he was like, he was being vulgar and nasty. And he did it repeatedly. It wasn't just like, and then he got banned. He got banned officially, like everywhere, I think. Didn't that happen? Like, wasn't it announced? He was banned everywhere. So, like, in the end, John Frederick wants him to be freed. Yeah, I don't want him to be like locked up forever, but I didn't like the vulgarity. Like, it's like, really? Do you like? Can we like in the JLP chat? They don't keep it. There are standards. Like, you can't be vulgar. It's not appropriate. And this is like where I'm struggling with like Yoda and the vulgarity of his comments. Like, I don't want to see it. Tomas is being bold tonight. Your homie Ray Ray. Hey. Yeah, I wish Ray well. Yeah, he does go too hard. Yeah. So I don't know why he got permanently banned though. I can't say. But I do have to say, like, all I did was time him out for 5 minutes. And it was after I asked him not to talk like that. So he's still able to come in here on his sock account. It's the internet girl. It's my experience on the internet, which I'm able to curate. That's the fun thing about the internet. You get to curate your experience. I think it's a different Raymond. No, I don't. It's not the same man, Tomas. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he did come in here on a sock account too, I remember, and he was like doxing spoiler alert or whatever. And it was just like, so I don't know. I don't know. Don't dox his alt account. We're having a great evening. I need to get back to this book though. Okay. Okay, we're watching Channel 4 News over tea as usual. There's a report about teenage suicide among boys who've been subjected to homophobic bullying. Interesting. So they had a report about boys who've been subjected, who've committed suicide, but who also have been subjected to homophobic bullying. It's not bloody right, Dad says angrily into his pork chops, sausage, bacon, leeks, mash, and cauliflower cheese. They're only little old boys. They can't help it if they're shirt lifters. Bless them. He can do this, our dad. He can come out with statements so fantastically wrong and fantastically right in the space of one sentence that all I can do is prepare the next forkful of sausage, bacon, and cauliflower. Not bloody right at all, he repeats. He's gearing up for something. He's getting himself cross enough for some kind of announcement. He clatters his knife and fork down on the sides of his plate. Christ, what now? I mean, I've always said that if you or Mark or Andrew ever thought you might be, or Mark or Andrew, that you might be that way inclined, I'd have no problem. No bloody problem whatsoever. Right, I say helplessly. I mean, there's some blokes who chuck their sons out on the streets, but they're twats. In my view, I'd never do that with you or Mark or Andrew. That's good. This is interesting. His father confronted him about it and was like, I don't have a problem with it. Oh my goodness. Champagne when this F-slur book is over. John Frederick. Ugh. Goodness, okay. His expression softens slightly and he picks up his knife and fork. The next question is addressed to his food. So what's the score then, boy? Fucking hell, you're joking, aren't you? What? Here? Now? Okay, honey, here goes. Well, you know I'm with Clara, obviously. I do, mate. Lovely girl. Lady, I should say. Lovely young lady. And obviously, when you're with one person, then you're with one person, and that's it. Given Dad's historical approach to monogamy, I worry this came out as an accusation, but he's still listening. But before her, I take the Michael Portillo line because it happens to be true. As a teenager and a younger man, go on, boy, none of my business, go on. Not all the people I had or relations with were girls. In fact, one or two of them were boys. One or two of them were boys. He only had, from what I can gather, one sexual experience with another man. Or a sexual type of relationship. And then here he is boasting one or two. At least that he's written about in here. Now, I don't know if there's more. He's been very forthcoming about his slut making with women. So I'm just, would he keep anything secret? I don't know. One is one too many. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I get where y'all are coming from too, but I'm just saying, like, what so that's gonna be your identity for your whole life, and you're gonna make a big deal about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just, yeah. Okay, so let's see. He goes into his jubilant table banging routine. A year earlier, my brother Andrew had said, if you ever tell him, it'll break his heart. No, mate, it didn't break his heart, mainly because he managed to turn it into an example of a typical webb who needs to put knobs in holes. That and family loyalty. That and the fact that he loved us. There were times when any of the three of us could have told him that we just set fire to a hospital, and he'd have found a way of saying that those hospital wankers probably had it coming. That isn't love. Ultimately, we're not talking about much sex with many people, but I was right to treat it as a big deal generally, just as I was wrong to think that Dad would have some kind of a fit about me individually. This is the thing about villages. Sooner or later, everyone knows everything about everyone else. There's always the score. Person A drinks too much. B had an affair with C, and they eloped to E, and they eloped to Cleethorpes. D had a breakdown when he lost his job, and E and F are thinking about changing to the Guardian, but seem normal otherwise. G's garden is overlooked, and everyone knows he deadheads his geraniums in the nude. I, J, and K have all done time for ABH, but only L and M are on HRT. O, P, Q, R, S, T, and U all have cancer. V cheats at golf. Which is partly why, despite the stereotypes suggested by the Daily Mail, a stereotype they collude in by buying the bloody thing, rural conservatives are not the monsters of bigotry that I and some of my friends on the left have occasionally found it convenient to assume. Yeah, I've noticed that too in my experience. In fact, they are some of the most tolerant people I've ever met. Not because they're inherently nicer than city dwellers, but because they don't have a choice. For 25 years, I've been made to feel welcome in Woodhall Spa Conservative Club, drinking there and playing snooker with Dad, Mark, Andrew, and their friends. My public support for labor has been discreetly overlooked. It's recognition that community is more important than politics, even as the best political disagreements are often about how best to maintain a community. Well, isn't he nice? Dad made exceptions for me just as I made exceptions for him. His views on snooty, champagne socialist, metropolitan, formally pan-affectionate, middle-class, Oxbridge, Oxbridge lovies had to take a step back when he noticed he had one for a son. And my views of baby boomer, non-college educated, slightly racist, deeply sexist, angry white working class Tories were tempered by having one as a dad. This is the kind of forced empathy that villages, not just families, are rather good at. Given the divisiveness of the Brexit vote and the Trump presidency, oh Lord, here we go. Sabrina. Y'all, Sabrina needs to be lifted up tonight. Why do you feel it's bad? That's what, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, that too. I agree. I totally agree with that. I found that when I've lived in smaller towns or communities that people tend to be just very accepting regardless, and not in a fake way, but in a way that's relevant to the situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. Healing hands, I know. Sabrina, with those healing hands. We're going to be reading the Green Book. I'm excited. People are looking forward to it. It will probably be launching this weekend, God willing. Maybe Friday. I think I'll go live Friday. If I go live Friday, we're going to start the book then, if y'all are down. Yeah. I mean, that is an indication that something is wrong. But you can't be putting that on other people. You have to put that on you. Why is what's being reflected to you? Because you can't do anything about other people. We can only do something about ourselves. I mean, hey, Right, 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 right. Ask what it's doing to you, like to see that. Because, yeah, I could get, hey, I look at other people that I know, or have known, or um, relationships I've had, friendships I've had. People are a mirror to you. And how you're responding is what you need to look at. I don't know. Are they a safety hazard? They look so nice. Throw the book in the bin. Oh, I probably won't. No, I think I'll put it in the free pile. Not free pile. There's like a free library in my building, so I'll go drop it off there. It'll look good. It's, it might be interesting to someone. Who knows? They have some other things in there. I found stuff in there, so who knows? Okay, let's see. Yeah, he was on about Brexit and the Trump presidency. I think it's worth saying that it's precisely these exceptions, these accommodations we have to make with each other that create cracks in the wall of mutual suspicion and make possible a politics of civility. Cracks which the algorithms and self-policing identity groups of Facebook and Twitter hastily try to pace over. Mm. Well, now, dear reader, I think it's about time we had a look at the place I've so far managed to avoid, the place where we find this particular web, to put it mildly. Not at his best. Time to go to the ending. Imagine a child's drawing of a house. This one is thinner but taller than the first one. It has a chimney. A chimney. Hmm. That's not a bad idea. I don't know. I've never experimented with doing any sound effects on the show. I guess I could cue something up. Hmm. Yeah, that would be funny. I saw something about cracking a whip and I was unsure if I would like it, but that's kind of funny. Anyway, okay, let's continue. Um, all right. It has a chimney, but no smoke comes out because the house is in London instead of Lincolnshire. And in London, the fireplaces are pretend. Oh, God. Upstairs is a bedroom for big sister and little sister, one for the mummy and daddy, and other rooms where the mummy and daddy go to look at their computers. Not everywhere in London is that way either, Robert. Just where you live. Downstairs, the daddy is standing outside the back door of the kitchen with a cigarette in one hand and a can of beer in the other. He is waving at the mummy. The mummy is inside the kitchen and pointing at the daddy while talking to him through the door. A speech bubble comes out of the mummy's mouth, and there are lots of long words, including disappointment, certifiable, and alcoholic. Here we go. Oh my goodness, it's back. But no information about who that is or what they're talking about. It must be interesting. I know fake chimneys are pretty embarrassing. Okay, let's continue. At this time, the trick had been lying in wait. You can spend your 20s believing in equality, but if you were raised in an averagely tricky family, then you're going to need a very careful and realistic plan when you start your own. Otherwise, all your talk of liberation is going to count for dick once the nappies hit the fan. There are many ways to be a dad, but instead of making up my own way, I just let the original model reassert itself. Unfortunately, the original model was no beauty. Unfortunately, it was dad. Oh dear. So you work and you're tired, and you come in and the baby is crying, and sometimes your wife is coping brilliantly and enjoying life. And sometimes she's obviously got postnatal depression and can barely stand up for exhaustion. Either way, you can make sympathetic noises, but it's really none of your business because you're working, and if you're not working, you deserve a beer. The promise I'd made was to be a 50-50 husband and father. I would do half the house and half the kids. It was a good promise. Abby was working, I was working. There would be a bit of rebalancing, but it would be no sweat. Obviously, I just needed to be a bit more fussy about the work I said yes to. Instead, I said yes to everything. I'm a father, I have a family to support. I'm not going to be famous forever. I need to make hay. A man works. You'll thank me later. I'm tired. I need a drink. I changed that nappy, didn't I? I did the bottles and the sterilizer, didn't I? I mean, like, and this is why you shouldn't, like, yeah, I mean, it sounds like they weren't really. I mean, she was still working and having kids. So they're both working. Imagine she's working, he's working, and she's has kids and a house to maintain. Like, yeah. I know. Shout out to Robert. He made two beautiful white babies. Even though he was a bit gay, he still managed to make two beautiful white babies. So let that be a lesson to the rest of you. I know. Like, it sounds horrible. And I tell women, like, stay, don't do it. It's not worth it if you're going to be doing that. Like, don't do it. Because you're going to be, like, it's no wonder so many women are, like, insane and at their wits' end. Like, the stress of mounting responsibilities like that. I don't know how they do it either. I really don't. I'm like I think about how difficult it is to maintain myself just as an individual, let alone a family, let alone like on top of everything else. It just sounds so crazy. You know where you are pro children. We love children. I do know where you stand. I know. I know. I know. It's so chaotic being a beard for a gay guy. I mean, is he a gay guy? I don't think every guy who's had a couple of like or one sexual experience with a man is a gay guy. I mean, I don't know. And so you know what? Like, if a woman is a beard, I'm not going to judge that, because you know what? It's still more respectable than like something else, and maybe their marriage could work good. Like, I don't think that's always a bad thing. Maybe that is what is like the best thing for the two individuals. I know, I know. No, I mean, yeah. And then what are you giving your kids? Like, what kind of life are they getting? It's and what kind of life are they going to expect when they grow up too? You know, like, what are you preparing your kids for? What kind of children are you putting out into the world? You know, as well, if they haven't been properly like reared. Anyway, it's like, what's best for your community. I know, I know, I know. I'm so grateful that I didn't get put in daycare, at least, That was one thing, that was one trauma I did not undergo. Because I had to say, like, I never thought about it much, until a few years ago. But I had listened to some women kind of talking about it in a critical way. And I reflected on first going into school, and the kids who'd been in daycare were very different than the kids who hadn't. My in favor of school choice. I'm not sure exactly what school choice is. You mean like kids being able to? Why you're Sabrina? You're not a father. That's awesome. Make that money, honey. You want to have a woman. It sounds like you want to have that. Yeah, interesting. Yes, yes, thank you. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to like even figure out how to navigate that. Verge of repentance. Yeah. See, I think, yeah. Honey, you don't want to be a pretend father. You're better than that. You're a woman. It sounds like you want to have a child. Hey, those demons, they don't all come out at once, John Frederick. Deliverance is a process, okay? You got to keep laying hands on people sometimes. You got to keep praying the name of Jesus over them, okay? Because they have to want to give up the demon too. Like, it's not just, you know, that you ask that to be taken from them. It's also that they have to be willing to part with it. Whoa, this is wild. I want my wife to have a child and use my egg. So you want to have like a techno baby. You want to have like, okay, that's wild. People are doing things out here. People are doing some things out here. I don't know. Like, what's that about? Like, also psychologically, though, like, what's that about? Like, that's your desire. You want to put your egg in another woman, your fertilized egg in another woman. It sounds like you want a surrogate. You can hire those. They're all over. And then you have a baby delivered to you. You get a maid. What impact do you think that would have on a child? Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I know. That's how people are doing it, Tomas. And that's what's so wicked about this. The whole surrogacy industry is wicked. It is some weird stuff people are doing. And, all to not bear the child themselves. Dude, they're doing it in all kinds of Western countries. It's very, no, it's very, like, I don't know how much you've looked into surrogacy, but it's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. The things people are doing, the babies that are getting made. And also, like, the impact on mothers. Like, oh God, there was a really tragic one. I don't want to get into that story too much. There's a level of exploitation that is, I just think, unbearable with surrogacy. And it's so harmful to the child, it's so harmful to the mother. And children know something's up, you know? Because sometimes people try to, pretend that their child isn't surrogate, or that, another mother, their mother is not their mother. It's crazy. They're a whole mess, Sean Frederick. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I do think, there are women who take on like a role, like, I don't know, he talks about his Aunt Trudy in this book. His Aunt Trudy was a big influence in his life. She didn't have any kids of her own, you know, and she was his grandmother's sister. So women who aren't, but I don't think it's right for you to implant like your egg in another, like, yeah, it doesn't seem right. Some insane aunt. I'm somebody's insane aunt, y'all. No, I'm a great aunt. I would be, I don't know. I'm not a great aunt. I'm somebody's insane aunt. But I do love, shout out to my nephew. Interesting conversation regardless in the chat. I'm getting kind of sucked in by it. Okay. So you work and you're tired and you come in and the baby is crying and sometimes your wife is coping brilliantly. Okay, yeah, we read that. Instead, okay, let's see. I look at my CV over those years and there's persuasive evidence of breadwinning panic, great movie mistakes, argumental, Robert Webb, Pop's greatest dance crazes, young, dumb, and living off mom, and almost any ad. Ugh, or voiceover going. I did all this stuff as well as I technically could, but my heart wasn't in it and the audience noticed. What's worse is that when I wasn't working, I was just sitting outside drinking, smoking, and talking to myself. Fantasies of violence, usually. That time I had to blow my cover as an MI5 agent. MI5, y'all. Ugh. By shooting a terrorist, that rapist I beat up. This time, Jonathan Ross got me to admit I'd served in a certain regiment of the British Army. David, of course, only really established himself on panel shows for want of something to do while I was in Kosovo. I stayed up late to rehearse these make-believe conundrums. It was desperately important without being much fun. The guy-bys weren't fun anymore. They were all constantly pissed. I wish the guy-bys would pull themselves together. Okay, interesting. Like, he's not redheaded, Maina. He is not redheaded. He is blonde. The guy-bys were his make-believe friends that he talked about earlier in the book. So yeah, the guy-bys were like this group of, make-believe friends that he played with when he was a child alone out on the club estate that his grandparents lived and worked at, that he spent time at. So yeah, he described these like details of his childhood playing with these imaginary figures and how they kind of tied into his sense of himself as a boy. Well, anyway, either that or I was picking a fight on social media. Twitter was the Coningsby community center I never had. It's like I was making up for all those punch-ups I previously had the sense to avoid. I charged bravely into the fray, armed with nothing more than a 4-pack of Kronenberg and a block button, and then charged away again when suddenly everyone seemed terribly cross. I was like the bad driver to whom everything comes as a surprise. What zebra crossing? Ooh, that roundabout came out of nowhere. Why is everyone beeping? Why am I in the Daily Mirror just because I said I couldn't stand Jeremy Corbyn? What's wrong with having a pointless scrap with Julia Hartley Brewer? Oh, hello, Abby. What's that you say? It's 3 a.m. Is it? Oh, so it is. I was just coming. Yes, if you'd listen. I was saying that I was just coming in. I'm not shouting. Why would I shout? Effing hell, it's only a couple of beers. Me in a spot of alcohol dependency then. Who would have possibly seen that coming? God, here we go. How bad did it get? No idea. I was mainly drunk. Not falling down drunk, never drunk when filming or before a show. I never got the shakes or had to do a Leaving Las Vegas with a bottle of vodka, or at least on two occasions I remember putting a cork back in a wine bottle that wasn't empty. I'm no doctor, but this doesn't sound to me like most alcoholics. It doesn't even sound like most doctors. I was, however, being a relentless pain in the arse. Mostly absent, often slurred and forgetful. There was no conversation worth having that I didn't need to have twice. Certainly never violent, but much quicker to take offense. Slow, pompous, chippy. You've met this guy, this woman, a dick, a boring, drunken dick. Not all the time, not every single day, but some of the time, most days. Eventually, Abby just wrote me a letter telling me how much she missed me. What was going on in my head now that I had children? What do I remember about houses with small children in them? Actually, let's not remember. What do I remember about the fathers of small children? Let's not go there either. But mothers are great. And what mothers do eventually is let's just pop open another lager and be somewhere else. The future, preferably. The future where I get it together. But for now, there's Daddy in the picture, standing outside, waving at his 2 daughters through the kitchen window. It's as if he prefers it. It's as if young families make Daddy sad. Chapter 14 quiz. Oh, he's going to quiz us. Yes, it's time for the traditional Chapter 14 pub quiz. As with society, you don't have to be a heterosexual male to join in. He is so irritating. But it has been created mainly with that in mind. The subject of this week's quiz is gender, sexism, and masculinity in the half-changed liberal mind. Yes, this is quite a weird pub. Here goes. 1. Your girlfriend is getting ready to go out to the pub and is wearing makeup. Do you A. suggest she puts on a bit more makeup? B. Ask her why she's wearing makeup when you're only going to the pub? C. Tell her she looks best with no makeup? D. Shut the F up about makeup because it's not your face. What am I reading? I'm glad you asked. I mean, I know there's nowhere to find out, but let's put it up. There you go. Okay, what is the correct answer to that? So I don't really like to be told about my makeup. To be honest, that's a point of contention for me. Like if I'm going out, if I'm leaving my house, I'm gonna have makeup on. Okay. 2, your girlfriend is unusually irritable today. You figure out it's about a month since her last period. Do you triumphantly tell her she's being an arsehole because she's got premenstrual tension? B, suggest gently that it's possible that she's being an arsehole because she's got premenstrual tension. C, make her a cup of tea and say it can't be much fun having premenstrual tension, especially when it turns you into such an arsehole. D, make her a cup of tea and don't effing mention premenstrual tension. If you knew your cock was going to start bleeding tomorrow, excuse my language, I didn't want to read that word. Women should not leave the house. I don't. I stay in my house. Maybe I'll go get a coffee every now and then, but I'm back in the house. What am I doing? I'm chilling at home. I mean, I do go out, but on occasion, but most of the time I'm in home where I'm supposed to be. Let's see. Yeah, he says if you know your C word was going to start bleeding tomorrow and it was going to be very painful and extremely inconvenient, and this has been happening every month since puberty, and it isn't going to stop until your fertility disappears, presaging your own death and foregoing the miraculous opportunity to carry another living being inside your body and then give birth to it, like having a snooker ball pushed out of the end of your C word, not a melon out of your A word, but a snooker ball the size of your so a euphemism for his penis, basically. Then you'd be a bit effing cranky too. A snooker ball. Is Robert Webb a woman? He's a bit of a woman, yeah. Okay, 3. A man who sits down to do a wee is, oh Lord. nearing the end of his useful life and should be given a one-way ticket to Switzerland to get dignitas. B, some kind of pervert, or some manner of pervert. C, clearly just back in from a night on the lash and urinating in the only way viable, but doing so with shame. D, just a guy having a wee, possibly because he lives with 3 other people who do sit-down wees, and this saves a bit of loose seat admin. However, he remains a man because he doesn't locate his self-respect in his wee posture. Oh my God. This guy is crazy. Like, really? he is a nut. I love it, but like, wow. Like, he is telling on himself, and it is insane. 4, a bar stool is an item of pub furniture for ladies and students. B, somewhere to put your coat if it isn't occupied by a lady or student. Something to lean against with a straight left arm, holding your pint in your right hand. Reverse this for left-handers and homosexuals, while cocking your left foot over your right with the left foot toes pointing out at the floor. D, somewhere to sit, but not as good as a normal chair. Fair enough. I would say D. I think, yeah, he's all of the answers from our Robert's perspective are clearly D. 5. On average, women earn less money than men over their lifetimes because. What? Where are you? Well, I know. It's almost over. It's almost over. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, let's see. I know, I'm almost done. Not much longer, then we can go to bed. Yeah, then I'll get ready for bed. It's okay. Yeah, we need a solid alpha rebound after this. You thought so much about our flight. So, okay, back to the question about women earning less money than men. Okay, so they earn less money over their lifetimes because A, they tend to be a fair bit lazier and stupider than men. B, they're just as clever and hardworking as men, but their brains aren't really suited to certain well-paid professions, and this is because of science and their being from Venus. C, they're just as clever and hardworking as men, but their brains are equally suited to any profession, but they lose out when they choose to start a family. D, give me a break for about 500 discriminatory reasons, including they're just as clever and hardworking as men, and their brains are equally suited to any profession, but they lose out not because they choose to start a family, but because society chooses to impose a financial penalty on them for starting a family in a way that it doesn't for men. Stacy. Goodness. How did you get on? If you scored 5,634, then congratulations, because that's Number Wang. Shout out if you know about Number Wang. If you didn't get 5,634, commiserations. Also, if you answered anything other than D for any question, Then you must have been wangered, numbed, and must now be taken out to be gassed. On with the show. You must be taken out to be gassed. I'm with Dardar, my granddad John, in his care home. He's 90. I'm sure we've all seen it, the care home kaleidoscope synecdoche. Synecdoche. Okay, I expect this phrase will catch on. A house concentrated into a single glittering room. Darling, no, I'm not done. You're not going outside. You are not going outside. He ran out into the hallway this morning. Yes, man, you ain't going out there again? I'm not just gonna let you into the hallway. Are you nuts? Is you crazy? Is you crazy? You're crazy, aren't you? Crazy. You think I'm gonna let you outside? You think I'm gonna let someone like you outside into the hallway just to hang out? What happened last time? That's right. You got yourself in trouble. Well, not last time, but that one time. You ain't just gonna go out there. I'm just gonna let you out there. You crazy? Almost done. Give him some milk. Do you want some milk? We do have some milk. Would you like some milk tonight? Or some cream? I got a lot of half and half. I got a big thing of it. Hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be up here. You're not supposed to be up here. You can get in my lap if you want, but you're not supposed to be up there. Come on. Wow. That's right. He doesn't like, he's like, I don't like these kind of men. I don't like you interacting with them. You are a Chad, aren't you? Yeah, you are. What a cool cat. Who's a cool cat? Yeah, why did Robert tell us about peeing sitting? He pees sitting down. He had to tell us that. He had to like let everyone know. I mean, good God. I don't want to know. Like, he's told me so many things I don't want to know. Could be twins. Yeah, they're so cute. Black cats are so cute. Black cat supremacy. We believe in black cat supremacy. Yeah, black cat supremacy. Yeah, they're the best. Oh, bye, Galahad. Yeah, look at you. Look at you. Look at the kitty. That's a kitty. Getting some combing. Yeah. Oh, wow. Sorry, y'all. Kitty interlude. I mean, I don't have an opinion about it. I really don't. It's not my business. That's men's business. I don't want to know how you do your business. Like, as far as I know, you don't. As far as I want to know about it. Yeah, I've had one super fluffy cat. He was a black cat too. We ended up having to get him. That was a cat I had growing up, Panther. We had to get him like, uh, what's it called? We had to take him to the groomer. His fur was like super, super like thick and fine, and it matted really quickly. So we ended up getting him the little lion cuts. Like, so he would get like his haircut. Oh man, the first time I saw it happen, his little face all fluffed out, and then he's like got no fur from his like neck to his tail, and he had like a little poof at the end of his tail, and then like little poofy feet, you know? Oh my goodness. He looked so good, but I laughed really hard the first time I saw him, and he was upset. You could tell he was upset that I laughed. He was not, but he got used to it. He loved the way it felt, and he looked so cute. But he wasn't like a fancy cat at all, you know? He was a cat that like just I found one day, really. Or he found us. Thank God he did. He was on death's door. Yeah, I like a fluffy cat, but I love my sleek cat even, or I love him best. He the best kitty. He's so good. He's so good kitty. So good kitty. So good kitty. Yeah. You're so good. Well, you're soft now. You so soft now. You got a little brush. You soft. You feeling soft. Hey. He's so soft. Oh, so soft. Oh, that's done with the dumb book. It's almost over. I know he beta. He's beta as hell, isn't he? He not alpha. He not alpha male. He is not an alpha male. Okay, let's see. Where are we? God, how much of this is left? You, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, let's see. Really? Hold on. Oh, God. Okay, hold up. Oh, man, I got a lot to get through still, guys. Let's focus, yeah? God. Okay. Okay. A house concentrated into a single glittering room, trinkets, ornaments, pictures, and frames, the mementos that survived the downsize. They stand for all the treasures, including the people left behind. The horizon is narrowing, and the pathos is there too in John's conversation. The man who did this bit to destroy my Third Reich tells me once again that the food here is good, but if anything, they tend to put a little too much on his plate. It's 2012, and I'm there with Abby, Esme, and Dory. Dory needs a nap, and Abby apologizes, taking her out for a ride in the buggy. This tea lady just came and gave Ezzy a couple of chocolate biscuits, which she has eaten with all the care and precision you'd expect from a 3-year-old. Sorry about the mess, John, I say, picking crumbs off the carpet and madly putting them in my pocket. One of the first things you learn when you have small children is to just go with the mess, embrace the mess. This doesn't mean that you expect everyone else to embrace it too. Don't worry about it, mate, John says. Esme is restless and asks for a story. I look at my granddad. Would that be all right, John, if I read Ezzy a story? I slightly project my voice at his massive 90-year-old ears while trying to avoid the patronizing sing-song that seems to get professional care workers through their day. Oh, yes, please. I'd like to hear a story too, he says. With a slow-motion smile starting to form, I mean, you've already heard all mine. I rifle through the bag that Abby has made up of stuff to distract the kids. What? Usually the train doesn't. And guess what he was cleaning before he licked me? Y'all are mean, he was not. He was behind us the whole time. I don't, he didn't do it. He was napping. Ugh. So rude. Okay, so let's see. John's smile is disappearing as slowly as it is formed, and his glazed blue eyes are searching through the past. He adds not unhappily, I wish I'd read your mother a few more stories. I swallow hard. I'm sure you were busy, mate. Don't worry, she got the knack in the end. Well, yeah, she was a great reader, our Pat. Bye, Guy. Bye, Guy is the way God softens by God in the presence of women or children. It reminds me of something. But I don't follow the thought. Before me is the great pleasure of reading to my daughter and grandfather at the same time. I opened Zog by Julia Donaldson. Zog is an infant dragon who goes to dragon nursery school to learn how to do dragon-like things. About halfway through, Ezzy asks, are dragons real? I wrestle with this for a moment, but decide not to lie. No, sweetheart, there are no real dragons. As he takes this in and looks again at the pictures in the book, but they're real in the story? Gosh, that's a good way of putting it. Must remember that one. Yes, my love, they're real in the story. We are storytelling animals as humans. Bye, Guy, John had said. Bye, Guy. Guy, bye? Is that where I got the name? All those years ago? The name for the Guy Buys? My gang of 12 disciples, by God? I doubt it, but it's tempting to think so. Life is a mess, and the desire to always try to straighten it out instead of embracing it is as it is to unpick the cobweb into its silvery thread. What if Mum hadn't died? What if I hadn't had to go back to school for a year? What if I'd got ABC grades the first time and I had gone to Leeds? There were funny people in Leeds, but I wouldn't have met David, so no Mitchell and Webb, which means we wouldn't have been an off-the-shelf double act ready for Peep Show, which means I probably wouldn't have been cast in Concrete Cow, which means no Abby, which means no Esme, and no Dory. That's a hell of a silver lining. For me to make sense of Mum's death, all I have to do is dispose of the best parts of my working life, unmeet Abigail, and essentially bump off my children. Abby understandably finds this way of thinking completely insane, and her talking me out of it, this big screen narrative I've made for myself, was the beginning of my becoming a better husband and a better father. We create these stories for ourselves, but some stories we just grow out of. And more than that, gradually it starts to dawn on me, I'm just this bloke, not just any old bloke, but one who has invested so much pride and energy into believing I am not a bloke, that I've been acting like one of the worst blokes I've ever met. Yeah, go figure. Indeed it is. April is a tough month. It's also a lovely month. All the anxiety I felt about not being a proper boy had found an opposite reaction in avoiding my dismal definition of a proper man. Dad had given me such frightening early exposure to traditional masculinity that I thought I had lifelong antibodies. I thought that it was impossible for me to be an abrasive, hard-drinking bloke who takes his wife for granted because I'd seen what that looked like and it sucked. And the story in which I awarded myself a starring role, the sensitive young man whose mum died, who got up and out of death in Lincolnshire, who can't be sexist because he doesn't like football, who can't be sexist because he's read Man-Made Language by Dale Spender and votes Labor, who can't be sexist because he once had a secret boyfriend, who can't be sexist because He's been writing anti-sexist comedy sketches since school and now gets paid to perform them on TV. That guy can't possibly be in the grip of sexism. That guy might quietly notice that he's broken his promise to be an equal partner in the home, but okay, fair point. Soon, Abby, I'll put this right soon. This is so interesting because I found that as well. Like the men who are into the feminism stuff or who are like they're because they're out there, trust me, are psychologically very sexist. They're obsessed with it. They're like they can't reconcile it and it comes out in all these like really weird ways. Yeah, oh, like you know it. You know it. He might be your Uncle John Frederick. He's not mine. I'm not Austrian though, so what can I say? Okay. You are not, Abby would say for the umpteenth time, about to amaze everyone by jumping on your horse like Prince Hal. I spent years thinking that literally any minute now I was going to suddenly transform into a present, reliable, sober, responsible, fun, and loving parent and partner. In other words, an adult. Instead, I was playing the man boy, Jeremy Osborne, while scarcely doing this man thing any better myself. It was all provisional. I would get round to it right after the job, this beer, this cigarette, and this daydream. The final nail in the coffin of this provisional mindset came in the form of several nails in several coffins. In short, everyone died. John, Derek, and Dad. Derek died too. John, Derek, and then Dad. Wow. his male, like, yeah, his masculine role models all died. His grandfather, his stepfather, and his own father. What do I want? What is my idea of a mature masculinity or an earned adulthood? For a start, let's not give it capital letters and make it a thing. Well, honestly, nude zorbing, who'd have thought it? And now on BBC Breakfast, Robert Webb is here to explain mature masculinity. I mean, fuck off, baldy peep show dick. He's okay. Hold on. Let me read that again. I mean, fuck off, baldy peep show dick. I mean, yeah, that's had to be how people responded to that being on TV, and I'm glad that he has enough insight. Robert Webb is here to explain mature masculinity. The guy off Peep Show, the balding guy off Peep Show. As soon as it enters the zeitgeist, it's over. Anyone remember The New Man? This was a half-hearted attempt in the mid-1980s for guys to feel that they were in touch with their feminine side. It was largely to do with eyeliner, that and an attempt by Athena to shift another load of black and white posters featuring shirtless gay models holding babies. The New Man died in 1985 when Lofty and EastEnders had an asthma attack after Michelle jilted him at the altar. Lofty was in love with a single mum, Michelle, and had offered to become a house husband. On the morning of the wedding, Michelle had a secret meeting with her child's secret father, Dirty Den, a manipulative liar and adulterer with links to organized crime. So obviously, Lofty didn't stand a chance. Mr. Rochester has a lot to answer for. Charlotte Bronte's original 50 Shades of Moody Twat is the direct precursor of Dirty Den and the accompanying notion that only a tall, dark, emotional car crash can make anyone come. Wow. The new man, Mr. Rochester. I love that story. Oh God, I love that story. It's so romantic. Ugh, I love it. It's so wild. And it's so like, ugh, I don't know. It just does something to me. Well, anyway, the new man was pathetic, but sufficient to provoke a backlash. The new lad, loaded, zoo, Britpop, comedy was the new rock and roll. The only thing about it was the chippy insistence that young men stop apologizing about beer, football, and promiscuity. I hadn't noticed the apology, none was required anyway, and didn't like being told that there was something wrong with me because I didn't sit around obsessively compiling top 10 lists. And the bloody football again with the bloody football. Yeah, interestingly enough, I was looking at some interviews and material done about Nikki Berendi, whose book I was reading from before, Fingers Crossed. She was one of the lead singers of the band Lush, and she kind of, in some interviews, was describing the environment for her as a woman in that kind of Britpop universe. Because, I mean, they were a band, you know, that had some notoriety before Britpop, but they kind of got sucked into that scene quite a bit. But anyway, yeah, it seemed like, yeah, but I think it's just, there's nothing new under the sun. Culture just constantly regurgitates itself and trends happen. You know, they go back and forth and they look different a little bit each time, but really it's just the same stuff that people are doing. Culturally, we just lurch from one wonky stereotype to another. We're all meant to be Rambo. No, we're all meant to be Nick Hornby. No, we're all meant to be Ed Sheeran in an iconic Rambo t-shirt listening to a Nick Hornby audiobook while perusing a catalog of Grayson Perry ceramics while crying and wanking. I want the same thing for boys, men, girls, women, and anyone who grew up feeling that none of these words held any meaning for them. I want them all to have the freedom to express their individual and contradictory selves with confidence and humility. Feminism has had some success in challenging the restrictive stereotypes of what a girl or woman is supposed to be like. What I'm after is extending that awareness to the half of the population who might still be under the impression that gender conditioning didn't happen to them because they've got a Y chromosome. Gentlemen, it did happen to you. I don't blame you for forgetting because forgetting was part of the deal. I've been remembering for you. I mean, really, did y'all just hear what I heard there? It was forwarded to me, I know, but I'm terribly modern like that. If I claimed today to have made it as a 50-50 husband and parent, I think Abby would either die laughing or just strangle me in my sleep. But I hope I'm at least no longer the pompous dick I was in 2009 when I said to her, I can't get this done in one generation. Balls to that. It's a change of attitude, not the evolution of gills. Reimagining masculinity is worth doing for its own sake, but in my case, I know Ezzy and Dory are watching me. I don't assume that either will end up sharing their lives with a man, but if they do, I want them to expect good things. They know whether or not I'm taking responsibility for my own health. They know how often I walk them to school and pick them up afterwards. They know who's emptying the dishwasher, who's taking them to the dentist, who's making his wife laugh, and who's arguing with her respectfully. The personal is the political. There are several steps to male enlightenment if he aims for equality of unpaid domestic labor. At first, he puts a wash on and expects a medal. When the medal doesn't appear, he may give up. There again, if he has steel in his heart, he may try again. This time he puts a wash on and then takes the clothes out. He may even attempt to dry them. Still, no medal. Finally, and this only took me 5 years, he may eventually put a wash on, dry the clothes, fold them up, and put them away. To be honest, I still find this last part quite challenging. Me too. I mean, why put it away? Just put it in a basket and take it out when you need it. Right? Okay. I still find this part quite challenging because, for the sake of speed and efficiency, Abby has severe rules about which clothes go in which drawers. In fact, she has fairly strong views on what happens within each drawer, but she has encouraged me not to fear the system, and I have been left with the impression that she prefers my getting the job slightly wrong to my refusing the job. It's weird that I was ever in a position to refuse the job. At home, I keep a close eye on my temper. Obviously, I'd rather chew my own arms off than hurt the children, but I also try to catch an oncoming mope or sulk. The mood tyrant can be just as scary as the guy throwing crockery around. I don't drink alone, and I've quit smoking. It remains a sexist world, and I can't change it for my daughters the way I would like to, but I can try to improve the situation one man at a time, starting with me. Isn't he amazing? Isn't this amazing? You can write a pop song about changing the man in the mirror. It's just hard to get that message to stick if lots of people think you're a child molester. Still, it's a good idea. It's never too late to try, especially because we only have so much time. As Johnson and Peep Show said at Gerard's funeral, the scythe is remorseless. I hope the scythe's remorseless swing can bring some comfort to you all. Okay. Shout out to Alan Johnson. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we are all going to die. There was a 2-year period in my early 40s when I lost Dad, then Derek, then my last grandparent, John. Saying goodbye in the care home, I'd got used to the idea that it might be for the last time. This time, while Abby and I are ushering the girls out of the door, I hear my 92-year-old Dardar say, "At least we had some good holidays, mate." I turn back and reassure him that we had some brilliant holidays, which we did. But what does he mean, at least? I think I know. He felt a deficit, and so did Derek, and so did Dad. None of them spent their last words with me saying, "I wish I'd spent less time with my children. I wish I'd dominated more men. I wish I'd cried less. I wish I'd shrugged and walked away more often when I'd upset the woman I loved. I wish I'd spent less time saying what I was really afraid of and what I really wanted." No, they ended their lives saying that they'd missed out on too much of the good stuff: friendship, understanding, family, and love, and that they'd caused too much harm. That's where I was heading until a few years ago. And there are boys whose bicycles still have stabilizers on that are heading in that direction right now. I would save them the trouble. I mean, to offer them a wider understanding of what it is to be a boy, that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to talk about what's wrong. It's okay to play with girls if you like them, to dress like girls if you want to like the color pink if you like it, to hang out with your mom if you love her company, to not be all that bothered about football if you're not all that bothered about football. But small boys know that already. They don't invent these gender roles as they get older. We teach them. If Terry had a husband, he would take that book and throw it away. Oh my. If I had a husband, I don't know that I would be reading this book to you all today. I mean, yeah. Hey, y'all don't act like all husbands are the same. I know plenty of women who have husbands who would be all about this. They'd be reading this being like, yeah, this is real. This is the truth. I love that. I related to that. He'd be sitting around in his enlightened book group with the other enlightened men. They all met up to talk about this book and what it provoked in them. Can you imagine? And they'd all have like funny socks. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's see. It's difficult to give an honest performance when you've been handed a lousy part. You stare at your lines wondering how you're supposed to make sense of them. You learn them and stumble through the show anyway, tripping up, getting in the way of yourself and the women you're sharing the stage with. They're having the same problem with their own part, except they also have to do all of their moves backwards in high heels, with you talking over them and the spotlight shining on them too fiercely or not at all. The whole thing is a bad dream. Some people forget that they ever expected anything else. Others get lucky. They're the ones who remember being handed the script in the first place, and one that said boy and the one that said girl. And remember how disappointing it seemed when the only part they were born to play was the one called insert name here. Once you've remembered, it's hard to go on with the show. It's time, in fact, to write yourself a better part. In St. Peter's Church in Woodhall Spa in 2013, I delivered the eulogy I'd written for my dad. The place was packed and another 40 or so people were standing outside. I got a few laughs, remembered some of his unremembered acts of kindness, and ended it like this. The sadness that we feel now, we can afford to hold close, safe as we are in the knowledge that grief is love's echo. We only have to listen, and it's there. Today is a heavy day, but this is just an aftershock. The earthquake, the main event, as usual, was love. Right. He's done some cool things. Yeah. Oh, Stacy. Plenty of other people have read that. You can find an audiobook. Don't be looking up Robert Webb's address. I hope he has a few addresses. He's been around for a while. Okay. He had 3 grandsons. When I told him in 2008 that Abby was expecting a baby, he said, "It'll be a boy. The Webbs only do boys." And then we turned up with a girl, followed by another girl. He was delighted and said, "Robert has to be different, doesn't he?" Yes, Robert has to be different. At the same time, Robert is completely typical. Don't let Nana or Trudy see you cry. You're wearing girl socks. Do you want some of my beer, boy? I regret to inform you, your behavior has been deplorable. When's it going to get romantic? F off, he's doing his best. My heart is full. You let me down. There are probably lots of men who haven't had their lives marred or pointlessly complicated by the expectations of gender, but I've yet to meet one. You had to bury your pain. You had to conform to the tribe. You had to grow up faster than you wanted. You had to have sex as early as possible with as many people as possible, even if that made you a liar. You weren't romantic enough and you felt bad. You failed to do manly tasks with competence and felt bad. You made promises you couldn't keep. If you want a man of a certain age to go a bit quiet and stare into the middle distance for 5 seconds, ask him about his relationship with his father. Then expect the word complicated to feature quite heavily in his next sentence. The trick is a stupefying waste of everyone's time. It creates barriers, not just between men and women, but between mothers and daughters and fathers and sons. To oppose it has been the cause of feminists for many years. It's a cause I share. Just before we got married, Abby wrote this. This, they say, is the best it gets. This glorious day, so let's have this glorious day and a kiss goodnight. And wake up hungover and fight, and make up and kiss goodnight. And wake up and make jokes, some good, and make plans, and kiss goodnight and sleep and hold hands. and wake up and insist and be wrong and laugh like monkeys without understanding and be right. And then let's kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss goodnight. Why is he including this? This is terrible. I'm like, this is his wife's poem to him or something. I don't know. Just gonna alert. I don't want to be known about this. Okay. Okay, hold up. And sleep and keep each other warm and wake up and take each other's cause and forsake all others for as long as the light lasts. And then let's kiss our last goodnight. And oh, Christ, let me dream of your sweet face then. Lovely. Ugh. Let me take that down. Those of us who are loved have no excuse. I was right the first time when I tried to protect my bee in her roofless castle. All along, I had the information in my back pocket. I knew I was loved from the moment my mother picked me up at the bottom of the purple stairs. And when she died, I had the right idea as I sewed the badge back onto my school blazer. He needs to be a friend to himself. Men will struggle to treat women as equals if we haven't learned to look after ourselves, to recognize our feelings, and take responsibility for our actions. We should remember that we knew all along that we were allowed to be fully human, fully compassionate, fully alive in the moment, and fully committed to friendship and love. Self-respect and kindness to others, that's it. That's how we restore freedom to the galaxy. You won't be surprised to hear that some of my early enthusiasm for Star Wars might have leaked out, and Ezzy and Dory are now big fans. We sometimes chat about those brave, beautiful rebels, Han and Luke. Of course, how even Darth was a rebel in the end, and especially Princess Leia, the best kind of princess. Such conversations are not uncommon while we're out playing in the garden. Football, usually. We often play football. I'm starting to quite like it. Isn't that sweet? He taught his daughters about Star Wars and he's playing football with them, even though he hated it as a kid. Well, that's it, y'all. That was How Not to Be a Boy by Robert Webb. What a beta. Okay, let me just say, there are things about him that I really appreciate. He has some interesting ideas. He definitely had an interesting life. I really think he webbed the story of his life together well. I mean, his last name's Webb, you know. He looks like he has Downs. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, but yeah, he was kind of a nasty person. Like, I have to say, and there were many things he included in the book that I was horrified by. Details of his slut making that I didn't need to know. He definitely has some issues, like, just apart from his weird politics and the feminism. Yeah, okay, his girls look like boys. Yeah, so he and his wife are very into, like, teaching these girls to be masculine, essentially. Like, and telling them the patriarchy's out to get them. Like, they're trying to inculcate their girls with that kind of programming. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that his girls are looking like boys. I'm not really interested in looking up his family that closely. Yeah, I've always felt like Shiloh Jolie Pitt would straighten out. I didn't think that that girl is too beautiful. They wouldn't. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I mean, they've trans some. They're creating future lesbians. They might be. Yeah. I mean, he even says in the book, like, he doesn't assume his daughters are going to partner with a man. Like, they're the kind of weird liberals that get excited to have different kids. And you know what? I mean, my dad didn't like restrict me in terms of certain things, and he didn't. He definitely went, especially when I was little, like didn't how would I put it? Like he definitely didn't, dress me up all girly or that kind of thing. Like I wasn't made into some kind of doll. I was definitely given clothes that were functional, you know. I'm glad y'all are happy that the book is over. I am too. I didn't like his classism, his reverse classism. He like was really hateful towards the upper classes, even though he went to Cambridge. He seemed to have like, and I didn't appreciate his like, I get it to a certain degree. I didn't appreciate how little interest he took in his studies. It's clear he only went to the school he did to make connections in the theater world, because he wanted to do comedy, and Footlights is like a good program to get into. It's a good thing to be involved in. A lot of stars come out of Footlights. So he went to the school. He did what he needed to do to make the connections he wanted to make, but I did see that he like was not a very good student. He looked down on a lot of people who came from, affluence. And he did it multiple times in the book, which I thought was like astounding, because it was just, again, it was like he was projecting onto them all of this stuff that was really coming from him. So he had a lot of stuff like that, especially in his judgments that were, and descriptions of people that were kind of illuminating about him. Well, anyway, he's blonde and definitely didn't grow up in public school. I'm surprised he talks to us riffraff. How does it feel for you, John Frederick, to be talked about in that way? Do you feel othered? Do you not feel like you're in the in group? He's one of us. If he's in the snake pit, trust there's something wrong with him. Okay, like don't get it twisted, Cecil. He's got some kind of difference going on. He could be a Hunter Biden in the making. You never know. Yeah, so let's see. um, yeah, just in closing, I want to give my closing thoughts. Ugh, I know. I don't disagree with him about everything. Obviously, I've got some of Nero's fur on my face. I'm almost done. I promise. I promise I'm almost done. Not much longer. I promise. I just finished the book. I'm wrapping it up. I promise. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. Then I'm done. I promise. I know. He has a working mom. I know. He does. You wish you had me all day, didn't you? Then what would you do? But he already graduated. He already went to school with his little backpack. Yep. Didn't you? Oh, God. Well, I'm going to give him milk before we go to bed. I'm not giving him milk now. Do you want some even? Would you like a snack? Would you like a snack? What do you think? A snack? Public school for 1 year. God, that sounds terrible, John Frederick. I know my dad used to threaten to put me in private school to like punish me. He's like, I'm going to send you to this school. I'm going to send you to this school. Like, it would have been better. Like, what was he thinking? Like, I probably would have had a much better time. I don't know. I made some wonderful friends in school and I had a really decent school experience overall. I feel like there were some riffraff definitely, but I handled it. And I definitely was riffraff of it. Was it a long time ago? That was before we met, wasn't it? I was an adult when you met me. All right, so yeah, that was that book. I don't know. Thank you all for sitting it through with me. I love to flip my hair. It's one of the best things about having it like long and down is the hair flip. Man, when I get to do it in real life, it's so fun. I love doing it to people. Like tempering my like sentences with it. I'm so extra. Come here, dear. No, we're almost done. What did you think of the book? You thought he was beta as hell, didn't you? Beta Robert Webb. But hey, shout out to Robert Webb. He's been an interesting man who's done some amazing things. He is funny, and he's very smart as well. And here he is using his English education. He eventually wrote a book. Definitely disagree with him about a lot of things, but I appreciated the analysis of his life. I think there were a lot of honest things in it, and I appreciated that about the book. Like looking at his life, analyzing his psychology related to his parents' divorce, the different influences in his life. That was interesting to me, that kind of stuff, putting it all together and, how it eventually shaped the man he became. I do find that kind of thing interesting. So, good book. Though this is a nice comment. Nero is my Negro. You a Negro? Is you a Negro? You black as the ace of spades, aren't you? Yes, you are. He's a little bit white. He's got some white in him, aren't you? You a bit white. You're so cool. You're so cool. Look at you. You cuddling me so much. Look at that. Dang. Yeah, he was definitely. I love Nero. Man, they did him so dirty. Nero was loved by the people. Very interesting figure. He was a bit of a thug though. I don't like what he did to his wife or his mother. Like, yikes. Point fire. What a horrible thing to say. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Are you seriously saying this? If Netflix makes a series about Terry's cat, it will be white. Oh Lord, I've never had a white cat. I can only imagine. Dealing with a black fur is enough on things. Like, can you imagine dealing with white fur on everything? Revisionists. Revisionists. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna look him up. Robert Webb's family. Yeah, his mother. I called his wife his mother. Am I right or am I right? Yeah, she looks a bit insane. Like, I didn't know they did Strictly Come Dancing. Oh, interesting. That might be interesting to watch. I mean, she looks good there. Abigail Burgess. Yeah, I'm not seeing any shots of his daughters anywhere. Yeah, no pics of his kids that I'm coming across. Maybe if I look it up specifically, daughters. See if that yields anything. Stop it, you violent feline. Yeah, don't be violent with me. I'm almost done. Yeah, it's not pulling anything up in Google Images, which is fair. Like, I don't know what you're coming across. Um, but anyway. You had a cat with silver hair. That's very nice. They're beautiful. Yeah, I love silver hair. Martha Agrippa. Okay, y'all. Well, this has been fun. It's been a bit weird too. I know this wasn't. I know y'all had feelings about Robert. You were reading it and cringing along, or you weren't. You were cringing along as I read it. So thank you all for being here and listening to the story with me. I will be back soon, probably Friday, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But I will be starting a new book soon. So we'll enjoy that. We'll be reading the Green Book. And yeah, have a good night, day, and whatever else. Bye.